This is Eldlich. Oh, is this Eldlich? Okay. Matt Dog, thank you. And because of that, we're now going to transaction rollback to copy Elemental Burst. What are we copying? What the heck is this? Tribute one each of wind, water, fire, and earth to activate this card. Well, transaction rollback is going to skip that. Destroy what? Destroy all cards your opponent controls. What the? Horus Eldlich is still pretty cool. I liked it. Very nice.
I'm no stranger to trying to get new cards involved in Eldlich. A month ago, I taught Dkayed about Elemental Burst, and after getting Master 1 with Eldlich for the last, 4 months, my next goal is to try to get top 16 in Meta Weekly. I didn't get there this week, but I had a couple of duels that I think are worth playing. But first, did you know that YouTube doesn't even start paying you for advertisements on your channel until you get to at least 1,000 subscribers? Or that I'm only 157 subscribers away? Subscribe now to help out the channel. This was against Flower Cardians. This was a really funny duel for me. I ended up going second. And I just had no idea what this deck was, how this deck worked. The nice thing about going second with no hand traps is you can just let your opponent combo off, do their thing forever. So I literally just went to Google and was like, how to stop Flower Cardians. And after having 5 minutes to do research, it's okay, there's a spell that apparently lets them summon 4 monsters that you want to stop. Okay, good to know. Apparently they can make a level 10 monster with a spell negate. Okay, you want to bait that out if you want to resolve that grass looks greener. And it seemed like that was about it. It turns out they also have a floodgate effect with one of their Synchro 6 monsters, but I didn't realize that until literally after all 3 duels against this person was over. It's obviously a best of 3 in Dkayd's tournament, so you can see that I lost one of them. But, even after all 3 duels, my lack of being able to read made it so I'd be like, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? And it was because of a Synchro 6 that he told me in the chat after the turns were over. So right now he's comboing off forever, no idea what's going on. Apparently, this is it. Okay, so this Synchro 6, you banish a Cardian until the end of your opponent's next turn. Your opponent cannot activate effects in their grave, and they cannot special summon from their graveyard. So this is kind of the main goal of this deck, is they're basically a gargantuan graveyard shutdown deck, which is probably very good against Snake Eyes and a number of other meta decks. And right now, I mean, they have 5 monsters on the field. They have the Graveyard Floodgate. So the question is now, what do they do that they have a full field? What Synchro monsters are they going to make? What Link monsters? It's also a thing where he might almost be getting hurt by the fact that I'm not trying to interrupt him, because he's like, well, I get to do whatever I want, but what if I don't know what I want to do with that? I never thought I'd get this far. Okay, so he's still summoning. The level 8 is apparently the level 10 can float into the level 8, and the level 8 is protection. So this is kind of the only card we really care about. Spell or trap negate. Okay. So then when it's destroyed, it bounces back, and they have other cards that let them attack directly or at least get piercing damage. So first we have to bait out the spell negate. If they had an Ash Blossom here, we'd lose. But they also, or well, not lose, but we wouldn't be able to resolve grass. But also their deck is built in such a way that they can't have Ash Blossoms in their deck. Obviously, they only have 9 cards left in their entire deck, so we can send basically our entire deck to the grave. And there I tried to do the evenly matched banish all their cards face down thing, but I didn't know you can't activate effects in your graveyard. I also wanted to use Eldlich to grab transaction rollback. Can't do that either. So I wait until my opponent's turn. He needs to skip his draw phase, but that's fine. He's got most of his deck in the graveyard. He still has 10 cards in his extra deck, which is crazy. There we bait out the negate, use Solemn Strike. It can't be destroyed, but obviously now it will be able to be destroyed after this. So obviously we are in a bit of trouble because it's like we don't have any way to protect our life points other than a conquistador, so if he just attacks us, it is game. However, because we were able to resolve Grasslack's turn, we can transaction rollback and copy probably like Karma Cannon. Yeah. Just give us time to deal with him. Somehow we still have Golden Land monsters in our deck. We do have to kill him pretty quick also. Get a draw 1, recycle, nice. Eldlich gets another rollback engrave. Get a pop just cause. He floats into the level 8, but that activates a monster effect. We can just grab another rollback to get in the grave at some point. So now he does get a draw phase because he's negated. Congratulations. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's just game, right? I mean, skill drain is kind of a gargantuan win condition here. We just used Elemental Burst, which you just saw in the Dkayed video. We copied Elemental Burst to blow up all the cards in his field, and yeah, now it's game, right? Plus Waquero, GG. Yeah, I resolve Elemental Burst so much with this deck, it's not even funny. Game 2, he obviously chose to go first, so I was going second. And I was able to bait out his spell Trap Negate and resolve Thrust, which searched Grass. However, I didn't hit a single transaction rollback, which was really bad because I couldn't activate any other effects in the grave. I couldn't summon any of my Horus monsters, and then it's his turn, and I just have not enough protection. Let's do game number 3, though. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to compete in the Meta Weekly this weekend, but I'm hoping to compete in the weekend after. Like, once I've gotten Master 1 so many times, it would be a new goal that'd be kind of fun, because all these Meta Weeklies have like 150 players in them, which means you have to win. I'll show you the bracket in a second, like 3 or 4 duels, 3 or 4 best of threes rather, just to get there. We have an Omni Negate with Diabell Star. We have Lord of Heavenly Prison. Yeah, he's in so much trouble. Yeah, I still love Torrential Tribute, even though it's not as good against specifically like Fire King Snake Eyes. But there, I mean, we just blow up 4 of his monsters before he can do anything with them. And we even still get our Diabell Star back. Like, all of our cards are resistant. This is the spell card that would summon 4 monsters. No, no thank you. We use Lord of Heavenly Prison to search out a grass. We still have our, Karma Cannon, GG. Alright, so this next duel, obviously you can see from the record, we just lose them both. It's against a Fire King Snake Eye deck, and that's interesting. Multiple copies of Triple Tactics Talent. Yeah, I might have to start using talents again if it's good against some of the current meta. I don't know, we'll see. But this player made it to the final 4 of Dkayd's 130 some player tournament. So clearly there's something to learn here. And also, I think I made some mistakes, so hopefully you can correct me. I'll show you the deck list later on in the video, but I'm only wanting one total Labrynth card in my whole deck, and even then I'm not really sure it's worth it. Just like an Arias to sometimes enable us to use trap cards a little faster. They're doing the standard Fire Kings combo. Yeah, it's kind of like I'm not exactly sure where to activate Torrential to get maximum value. Probably right here, right? Yeah, before he summons the monster that gets a pop. We don't have Lord of Heavenly Prison to protect our back row, so I'm forced to send out a rollback early. Okay, we dare him to crash. He decides not to. Yeah, I'm definitely pretty sure that I made some sort of a misplay here. So we don't obviously know that it's Called by the Grave. It's just when you duel in the dueling rooms, it shows you your opponent's hand. There, I think I got kind of greedy. I didn't need to chain Paleozoic Marilla, and I had been getting feedback from him that indicated he had Max C this whole time, so I probably should have just known he has Max C and that he's a good player and he's waiting for me to chain Marilla to get a draw 2. So I probably should have just not done that, because now he gets to draw 2 cards, whereas before it was a little bit of a kind of greedy, sneaky play, and he would have only drawn 0 cards because he didn't activate Max C. That said, he has double Ash Blossom, so this grass is not going either way. I also got feedback when I used Thrust that indicated he probably had Ash Blossom, so at that point I also should have been smart and grabbed something other than grass, some sort of a spell card that actually helps me out, maybe the Sinful Spoils card to just like start attacking him, I don't know. And also because he had it's like because he used Max C, then I wasn't happy to start making a bunch of Link monsters and Link plays. I didn't want to crash and destroy him, because when it's destroyed, then you can special summon a card from his grave. So, I don't know, maybe I should have just destroyed it and started getting hits on his life points. I don't know. And now he gets to start the combo again. He gets the spell card that lets him pop SP Little Knight for a banish. He banishes the rollback, so there I do choose to use it. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have even bothered using it. Like, it just costs me half my life points, and I know he's just going to dodge it with SP. Yeah, maybe my life points were more valuable. I mean, I guess we'll see if he's able to get... Yep, so this is the... This card would have gotten 1 pop. And then I would still have 2 monsters on the field to protect my life points. He makes Princess. Okay, he just makes Amblawale. Right, because he used SP, so he wouldn't have been able to attack. Oh, I guess. Okay, so by using Torrential Tribute, it gets my monsters off the field. He can't attack me directly because he used SP Little Knight, so I guess there is value to it. But you see, now he has like a full board, so I'm in big trouble. I chose not to activate any of my trap cards' grave effects so that I could resolve evenly matched. He holds on to the Called by the Grave, and I did suspect it was Called by the Grave. So instead of using Eldlich to try to summon back, I just set an Eldlixir. But he does have the second Ash Blossom, so this goes from having 2 solid interruptions, a non-targeting pop and a non-targeting graveyard banish, to nothing. So he's going to summon out the princess. Or I guess he doesn't. So here my goal is I'm going to pop... I'm going to threaten to pop an SP Little Knight, which hopefully means he banishes SP plus 1 of his other cards. And then I would pop the field spell so that it doesn't summon out a Flamberge Dragon. And then I would use Huaquero to banish their Promethean Princess. So I think I might have been able to survive doing that. Who knows for how long, but he does have the second Ash Blossom that he drew off of that Max C earlier, so yeah, it's just GG's. Yeah, Fire King Snake Eye is resilient to Torrential Tribute, which is tough because normal Snake Eyes, Torrential Tribute absolutely annihilates them. It is what it is. I might have to adjust my deck building to play against Fire Kings better. This is against that same person, so obviously I lost when I went first round 1, and then I chose to go first for round 2. Yeah, here I was testing out Iron Thunder. I think it still is a solid choice. Like you saw in that last duel, my Ariana did absolutely nothing for me, so probably not worth having. There, I have enough cards in my hand that I don't need to get a mill off Zombie Vampire, so I go with the other route, which is the Sky Prison. This is kind of like that first deck that locks down your opponent's graveyard. But the difference is I just need 2 level 8s, whereas they need to combo for 5 minutes. They do have an imperm, though, so they can stop it. They haven't activated any monster effects, so I can't use Thrust. Iron Thunder is nice because there are a lot more decks using Evenly Matched, I think. But this player is really good, and he was playing around Iron Thunder pretty heavily. So it's like, I'm going to put all of my important cards in the same columns as your important cards. You want to pop your own King Sarcophagus? Go ahead. But we do have a skill drain, and here I remember I made some sort of a massive blunder because I just got cocky, I think. So there, even though I'm still skill drained, I get rid of my Hapi just so I can summon him out. I can only send 1 card to the grave by card effect. Yep, I'm going to try to activate a Thrust. He had set his Ash Blossom, so it's going to go through. For some reason, I don't make Zeus here. I have no idea why. I specifically thought, oh good, I can put it in attack mode in order to make Zeus. You're going to see he's going to start blowing up all of my cards next turn. And Zeus has an effect where if you blow up a card, you can attach a card from your deck. So I could have attached Elemental Burst, and he just did it so many times. I might even also been able to attach a transaction rollback. And then here I also set Grass, which again is very greedy. I'm like, oh, I have Skill Drain. If whatever he tries to do, I can just use Iron Thunder to negate it. I'm fine. I'll just set Grass, and next turn I'll get tons of fuel and kill him. The truth is, if I make it to my next turn, I'm going to kill him no matter what. I can just make like a Blackluster Soldier, summon these guys out again, and kill him. So I should have been playing it safe and set like a Karma Cannon. Yeah, you can't afford to make mistakes or be greedy against Fire Kings. Because they have this graveyard pop effect, right? So now I don't have skill drain anymore and things are really bad. I am going to be able to use Hapi to recover some resources. He obviously negates the Imsety, but now all I have is Iron Thunder in a Dream, and he gets to pop 3, and he steals one of my monsters, so now he's going to punish me if I don't also take out Imsety. He played Triple Tactics Talent in this column, so if I used Iron Thunder, I would have destroyed my own grass. This time he uses Fire King Skyburn in this column. I'm not sure why, but he only targets one of his cards to target my mystery on face down card. And at that point, it's not worth paying half your life points to destroy your own King's Sarcophagus. And, well, anyways, it's not worth paying half your life points to do nothing, basically. Promethean Princess. And now they're doing kind of the OTK line that they have through their Royal Rare World Sea Dragon Zelantis. World Sea Dragon Zelantis gets a double pop. Obviously, if we found a way to survive till next turn, which a Karma Cannon would have helped with, we still would have been in a solid spot because we had recovered our skill drain, we had a thrust in hand. GG. Really quickly showing off the bracket. In pool number 1, we had me and Michael. Obviously, I won 2-1, and then Cole Marie beat me 2-0, and then Cole Marie won this duel to make it to top 16. Just showing off, there were 136 players, 2 different pools of players. The player that I just lost 2-0 to, that was running Fire King Snake Eyes, won this round, won the quarterfinal, and ended up losing the semifinal, so the final 4. So they were a very good player, and it was a lot of fun to play against them because I could tell a lot of the hand traps that they had, and I just needed to be better about playing against them. So after I did that, I kind of, over the next like day or so, I can't remember exactly how long, I climbed up from Diamond 2 all the way to Diamond 1 with like a 10-2 win streak. And then I also had a fun fun win against Fire King Snake Eye first game into Master 5. So I'll show off the deck list in a second, but first let's just do some fun replays you know, it was fun to go against a high-level Fire King player, but let's do some wins against other decks. First, we have Vaalmonica. Vaalmonica is another one of those decks where I just had no idea what they do. I can't remember if I went first or second against them. I guess we'll find out. Yep, going second against a deck that I have no idea what they do. It's pretty clear what I'm going to do. I'm going to activate Imsety. Oh, I guess they had a bad hand. Well, I'm going to activate Imsety, get rid of the Huaquero. He does negate and destroy the Imsety, but it doesn't hurt us too much. Yeah, that's one thing that's great about this deck is the fact that we're super resilient to most hand traps. Man, he's really bricked up. I mean, I know sometimes there's this strategy against back row decks where you just don't activate anything because they punish you for putting cards on the field, but we can kill you pretty quickly. Get rid of Elemental Burst. He has a max C, so unless I think I can kill him this turn, it's not worth summoning too many. I do give him a draw too, but now we're going to have a bunch of recoverability and we can punish him for getting rid of our cards. We also get a Marilla on the field, just so Trap Trick doesn't punish us next turn, and we can send a rollback. So now we have, we can't get an Eldlich yet, but we can have a total board wipe and a field flip. All right, Vaalmonica, let's see what you got. Yeah, I think I remember it's like the Link 2 monster makes it so you can't blow up their entire field. So, and I think I did even know that, but for some reason I should, like, I think right about here I should have used Elemental Burst. It didn't matter, they made a Bagooska. Or maybe it's the Link 1 that protects them. I see. Yeah, so once they made Bagooska and they went to the end, I don't know. I think they made Bagooska and I thought I could wait for their end phase. And even here, all I need to do is flip Karma Cannon first, and then I can use Elemental Burst. Or even after I use Elemental Burst, I can chain Karma Cannon, and then I blow up their entire field. But I don't. Yeah, I think this entire day, like the 11th or whatever, I was just out of it. So now they still have all their cards, which is too bad. We get a Diabell Star at least. So we have an Omni Negate going for us. Make Typhon. Bounce that card. Yeah, Typhon is a fun new card. I think I'm also needing to learn how to use Typhon more. Because like after you activate Typhon, you can't summon any more monsters, and I'm pretty sure I make a mistake at some point. Maybe I don't have that duel available here, where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make Typhon, and then I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and it's like, no. You make Typhon, they can't activate monster effects with 3,000 attack or more, it's over. Typhon's really great in our deck because we can just make like whatever, like a Huaquero or something into a monster with 2,900 attack, and like the following turn, if it's still around, we can do stuff. Yeah, this was kind of not the best hand. We had double Diabell Star. All we have is like an Omni Negate and a board wipe. But against the right decks, that actually is really good. I'm probably going to use the Omni Negate. Okay, yeah. So here my plan was to use the Omni Negate when they use Turbulence to set 4 cards. So he's like, okay, well, I'll just go to battle phase and force you to use it now, and then I can get this in the grave and then summon him back. But the thing is, Diabell Star, when she's destroyed by battle, can just come back, and since it's during the battle step, you can't even respond with Called By. So I think he knew that, and he just surrendered. It's always fun to show that sometimes even with, you know, not as good hands, we still have plenty of interruptions in order to beat them. What is this deck? Ooh, some sort of a... Okay, let's actually take a look at this deck. Okay, some sort of a Labrynth, Unchained. Okay, they're doing the double furniture. Just one rollback. I guess they don't have enough traps that they can take advantage of. Dimension Barrier. I mean, are there really enough decks that are not super heavy Link in this meta to abuse that? I'm not sure. Just one evenly matched. I guess this is kind of more of the hand trap version, so it's probably fine. I'm not as big of a fan of the hand trap version as I am of the whatever other versions that there are. Yeah, I'm hoping that Eldlich gets new support to keep up with Labrynth, though. Like the fact that they're like, okay, search any trap in the entire deck. Summon this big, untargetable, indestructible monster for free. Search or set any trap from the graveyard. Activate a trap from your hand, and you can activate it this turn, even if it's your opponent's turn. Yeah, we definitely need more support to keep up. Let's see. Unchained. Although, we don't necessarily need new support because evenly matched still kills them. Evenly matched kills a lot of decks in this meta. They're probably going to still pop one more card in our hand. Get a draw 2, don't mind if I do. Okay, evenly matched. Yeah, so they do have to save their Lovely because she was about to get banished face down, but they are able to recover pretty well. So we hit them with evenly matched, but they recover some resources and just have another evenly matched. This guy also would punish us for having a monster on the field by linking it off and making like Unicorn or something. He attacks us, we don't care. Wait till end phase. He has a max C, one draw, doesn't matter. We just use Trap Trick now, why not? Karma Cannon is safe, we don't want him linking into our monster next turn. Nice, Imsety is going to help a ton. Yeah, and he just surrenders. Like, we're going to be able to summon out, we can link Eldlich off, Eldlich can grab Elemental Burst. G to the G, thank you very much. Alright, 2 more duels, then I'm going to show off on my climb to Master 5. What is this, some sort of a Snake Eye Centurion? So they do have this, like, Omni-Negate counter trap. Yeah, so I'm kind of trusting the people who are, like, playing IRL Yu-Gi-Oh! Who say that Snake Eyes is the best deck with all of these cards. Although they're having a number, in Master Duel, a number of the important Snake Eyes cards have been hit with consistency hits. So now Fire King Snake Eye is probably the best deck. Alright, just the normal Snake Eye combo. This is actually so bad. Like, I guess I wasn't paying attention a second ago. We literally just have an Eldlich and it called, like, how do we not just die? Oh, he uses SP Little Knight. Yeah, that was a big mistake. Yeah, I don't even bother summoning an Eldlich. We prefer to use Called by the Grave on Flamberge instead, so that really limits the follow-up that they get. Now I guess they're going to go into Centurion plays, but it's like, you can't attack me directly. That's kind of, I feel like a mistake that a lot of players make when they're going against a back row deck like ours that hasn't summoned yet. Either you don't do SP Little Knight, and you just let us have all of our face down cards, or like you don't make SP Little Knight because you want to like attack us directly and kill us, but then during the battle phase we have more interruptions than maybe we otherwise would have. Yep, you couldn't attack me. Sorry. This transaction rollback is really killing us, though. We need to get this rollback off the field ASAP. So we knew they searched out the Omni negate trap, so it's fine. Grab rollback, grab Eldlich. Yeah, in that case, I just decided to summon him. I don't know if that was the best idea. I could have tried to use evenly matched. Well, we do make Typhon, though, so we can get rid of the monster with super high attack, and all their monsters with 3,000 attack are negated, such as their, their Flamberge Dragon. This guy has just enough to attack us, evenly matched. I guess we'll wait till our turn. Yeah, we do get a little bit more value off the evenly matched now. I wonder if he just quits after we hit evenly matched. There I chose to use grass because there's a possibility that we can try to do something with it. He makes a Baron de Fleur. Yeah, I probably should have just gone into evenly matched right away. whatever. Barone is going to negate the evenly matched, but we can summon out an Arias just as a body. Barone is once while face up on the field, so we don't need to worry about him anymore. Trap Trick into a Paleozoic Marilla. Send an Elemental Burst. Yeah, we already had a couple of rollbacks in the grave, so we're good. We also have our Eldlich engine. Go ahead, summon out the Flamberge Dragon. Yeah, he just surrenders. It's like we can blow up his entire board at any time, and he's just too terrified. That's something I've said in a couple of duels. Sometimes the threat of Elemental Burst is stronger than the execution. All right, last one against Yubel. So Yubel are like these what's the deck called? The one that's like going second. They all have 0 attack, but you take battle damage. They're like that, but like a slight improvement. They also have a bunch of level 10 monsters, which is going to be interesting because there's one level 10 Omni-Negate that I'll talk about in a minute that I'm looking forward to having in Eldlich, but I guess I'm not looking forward to other decks having it too, but we'll talk about that later. Going first, we're hoping to get them to activate a monster effect. They don't. Karma Cannon is a real lifesaver though. It just like turns your opponent's turn off. You can activate it anytime you want. Like, technically Wabaku might be a better card to just like stall for a turn. Actually, One Day of Peace might be a better way to just stall if that's what you really want to do. But Karma Cannon is also like a really powerful interruption on your opponent's turn. So you can use it to make it so they go from having like 5 bodies that they want to start synchroing and linking to absolutely nothing. Yubel is kind of resilient. Like they have this monster negate card, and they make it by contact fusing cards in their grave. So they do the thing where they banish. So they're not attacking directly this turn. We do get to summon out our Lord of Heavenly Prison, though, and this monster negate is face down. We just get to draw 2. We can grab a grass with thrust if we need. Yep, and they're probably going to Ash Blossom that, right? Nice. You fell for my trap. Force them to use their interruptions. I was thinking that during the main phase, they would link him off, so I would do stuff during my main phase. But instead, he waits for me to go to battle phase and pops it, and he summons it out. No Ash Blossoms yet. Okay. Triple rollback. What else did we hit in here? Real quick. Rollback, obviously. We could do Trap Trick into anything. We have an Elemental Burst. Perfect. So we're going to force that out now. I wonder if it would have been better just to wait until the end phase after he comes back. Well, now we get to make Typhon. So all of their monsters with 3,000 attack are negated. Yubel doesn't have a ton of them, so that doesn't matter that much, but whatever. They pop that card. He has its effect to special summon a card, or add it to hand, which really means send it back to your extra deck. He's going to try to link off with Typhon. We're just going to Karma Cannon, flip him face down. He hasn't affected when you destroy it, so we don't want to destroy him. Okay, he grabs the field spell. What's he going to do with the field spell? He's going to do the Dark Beckoning Beast line. I think that's kind of cool that the Dark Beckoning Beast package has good synergy with this like level 10 deck. Okay, adds a card to hand. We're just going to banish because here it says you can special summon a fiend with 0 attack and defense. So I'm like, okay, they just discarded this guy. I would rather they summon out one of these cards that's been around for 10 years than this card that like is brand new. So I'm going to banish that and see what they can do. We also get a ton of bodies, so we're going to protect our life points pretty well. Contact Fuse. Okay, this is interesting. So, hold on. Doesn't it have an effect where when it attacks your opponent's card, it causes you to take the battle damage? Why didn't I take... Shouldn't that have just killed me? Cannot be destroyed by battle. You take no damage. Oh, maybe it's just the normal Yubel monsters. Or there's like some other card. Okay, so there's some card that he needed to have that made it so that I take the battle damage, but those cards weren't it. Well, he gets access code, so he can pop a couple cards. Or at least he would be able to if I didn't have Typhon on the field. So GG, Typhon for the win. Typhon versus access code. Typhon wins every time. Thanks to that win versus Yubel, I'm currently Master 5. And I also lost pretty quickly in Dkayd's Meta Weekly. I'm hoping to make improvements to this deck as I climb to Master 1, as I try to make it to top 16 of Dkayd's Meta Weekly so I can show up in his videos again. That was a lot of fun. But for now, what I was running is just one Arias. The thought is like going second, you can activate a Karma Cannon, a Torrential Tribute, or a Trap Trick from your hand in order to like blow up your opponent's field. At that point, you're getting the same value off of it as like a Nibiru, where like if they have an Appaloosa, they can still negate it. I don't know. It's like because of the timing, it's like you want to have all of your traps happening at the same time, activated during the same turn. Having one card where you have to discard it, but then you get to activate one card that turn, like it doesn't really start our combos, so I just feel like it might not really be as good in Eldlich as maybe I hoped. Obviously, triple Diabell Star, the standard Horus package. Normally, people run 2 in a 40 card deck, but because we have a 60 card deck that mills a bunch of cards from our deck to the grave, we run King Sarcophagus. You saw that we are able to resolve Grass Looks Greener all the time between obviously Grass itself and Triple Tactics Thrust that can search it, and Lord of Heavenly Prison that can search it. Like, we are able to mill very easily, and we are able to mill Transaction Rollback, which can copy an Elemental Burst, which obviously blows up the whole field, but we could also hit any of our normal traps that we're probably more likely to hit that are also super powerful interruptions. And the reason that this works with Eldlich, obviously, is because of the trap cards, right? These trap cards, when they're in the grave, get a ton of value. So that's kind of what's going on there. I've dropped the 2 XYZ trains just for this one that's kind of an Omni Negate. And I'll talk about this in a second. Anything else interesting about this deck? Not really. I'm running a couple copies of Iron Thunder. I think Iron Thunder is a super interesting card. It has the same power as the Sinful Spoils trap. However, it kind of punishes you. Like, I think this is really good if you get a lot of practice with it and really understand the strategy, because the fact that it destroys other cards in the same column can hurt you if your opponent activates some monsters in the same column as, say, your, you know, Grass Looks Greener that you just set, or your King Sarcophagus, or what your Skill Drain, whatever. So it is a card you have to be careful with, but if you're able to play well, I feel like higher skilled players are able to make this work really well, where you can maybe pop your own transaction rollback to get it in the grave, or you can start popping your opponent's important back row or monster cards or whatever. You'd probably usually, by default, going second, set this in the same column as an important monster you want to destroy, like a Baronne de Fleur. That way, when you activate it to negate Baronne de Fleur, it's only punishing them by destroying any back row they have behind their Baronne, and it's not punishing you. Yeah, it's an interesting card. We're still running the 2 XYZ level 8s for going first, which are Sky Prison and Zombie Vampire for a mill or a lockdown. And then going second, we either have a send 1 card, protect, or blow up all monsters and 1 spell. So kind of the going second XYZs, the going first XYZs. And then we have Super Dreadnought, which is a level 10 that allows you to make one of your monsters unaffected, which is kind of, you would use it as an interruption to protect one of your monsters from like an SP Little Knight. However, there's about to be a new level 10 monster, which is going to be way better than this. So without further ado, let's go to that. So I want to take some time here to go over a bunch of cards that are coming out either soon or in a long time that are potentially going to be good support for Eldlich. Like, they're not directly Eldlich support yet, But as I'll talk about in this section, there's more and more reason to think that it's coming ASAP. So first, probably like next month in Master Duel is Vadris. Now, mostly this is like a Baronne de Fleur that you can make with 2 level 10s. You can negate a card or effect, which means you can negate transaction rollback into grave, unlike some cards. And then you also have 3 different ways to destroy a card, either by detaching both materials when you negate a card, or at the damage step if you attack while it has material, or after it gets destroyed. So it has a lot of ways to destroy cards, just like Baronne. It's an Omni Negate, just like Baronne. Imagine if Eldlich could make that using Lord of Heavenly Prison plus Eldlich the Golden Lord. That'd be kind of nice. Probably don't see us using the old XYZ level 10 trains as much if we also have this. It'll be annoying because Yubel will get access to an Omni Negate, but like it seems like they'll only have access to one Omni Negate, and we can play through one Omni Negate just fine. It would just be nice for us to have one too. Okay, other support that's coming out, probably in a long while. Silo Hat Rabbit. I think it's actually been printed and people are playing with it in IRL, like in Japan. So 2 effect monsters. If it battles, neither can be destroyed by battle, so it's kind of just like protecting itself. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If it's link summoned, set a continuous trap directly from your deck that has an effect that special summons itself as a monster. That's great. If we can search out Golden Land trap like Conquistador or Huaquero, all of a sudden, this is awesome. It's like Labrynth that can search our important cards directly from the deck. What we probably need is a field spell that allows us to activate at least one the turn it's set. Honestly, you could probably say that all Golden Land traps can be activated their turn they're set, and like the field spell could be called Eldlich the Golden Lord while on the field, and it wouldn't be broken at all because the Golden Land traps themselves are not super powerful. They're kind of minor interruptions. I think this could be really cool. Um, in general, though, you're probably also going to be searching a new trap card called Silo Hat. It negates the effects of opponent's cards equal to the number of illusion monsters on the field, which Silo Hat will be a trap monster that's an illusion, and obviously this will be an illusion. So you get an Omni double negate. So it's like the um, Sinful Spoils trap that's an Omni negate for 1 card on the field, but it's 2, and it's only lasts until the end of the turn. But honestly, that's pretty solid, especially if you're trying to 1 turn kill your opponent. Does it have an effect that locks it so you can't use it as link material anymore? Okay, it can't be used as link material the rest of the turn after it searches out a trap. Okay, all right, so we can't just make that and then start doing a bunch of other stuff, but it's interesting. 2 effect monsters is a high cost. Like, you would probably need to give up a couple of like Horus monsters or something. But it's interesting. Also, if a card is special summoned from the spell or trap zone to the monster zone, you can target one spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy it. So that's a way to get more value off of it if you've had it for like a longer 3 or 4 turn duel, which again, Eldlich prefers to do. We prefer to have things grind out just a little bit. So all of a sudden, this card's getting you 2, 3, 4 pops over the course of its lifetime. Even if it's just turning a Conquistador into a double pop, in addition to like searching out a double Omni Negate. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's some interesting concepts we can do, especially if we get more support that can support it. I also think that another reason we might be getting more support is because a lot of the support cards that are coming out that are interesting to us are around monsters that were considered spells or traps becoming monsters on the field. Because Snake Eyes is doing that a lot with the field spell and with Flamber's Dragon and stuff. So they're having support for those types of cards, and they also need to give Eldlich support soon. Like I said in my previous video about new support, they released a tryout deck in Japan, and the pattern is generally they release a tryout deck where they have all the basic cards you can get for like $15. You try it out and you're like, oh yeah, this is kind of a fun play style. And then a few months later, they release new support for that deck so that you spend more money to buy those to add to your deck that you already tried out and really like. So it's already been like maybe a month or so. So like in the next couple of months, probably before or maybe around October, um, I'm just saying, could be more Eldlich support. But this is a really interesting card that we would be able to use even without new support. A couple more cards. First, Flying Mary. This was just announced like a few days ago. You notice that this card, it was announced and someone had to take a screenshot of it. There weren't even like, I couldn't even go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikipedia because it like wasn't available yet. So very new support, which means we're getting on a long time. First, Flying Mary, two zombie monsters, so a lot easier to make. We can just use any two golden traps, golden land traps, or like one golden land trap plus an Eldlich. Target a level 5 or higher zombie monster in your grave or banished zone. Already, I'm loving it. Just as a one of, that a way to recover our banished Eldliches. Big fan. Place this card face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell, and if you do, special summon that monster. Okay, so we have an Eldlich and a Golden Land trap on the field. We link them off into this. We summon back an Eldlich that was banished, or maybe even the Eldlich that we just sent to the field as link material. This becomes a spell card. That Eldlich is on the field. While it's a continuous spell, target a level 5 or higher zombie monster you control. Destroy one monster your opponent controls with equal or lower attack. Like, how is this not just directly meant for Eldlich? What other zombie deck could they possibly have intended this for? We recover a zombie from the banished zone. Eldlich comes to the field. We pop a monster with 2,500 attack, and we can do that like every turn. It's almost like it would be better if it was considered a continuous trap, because then it'd be like our own version of branded the branded continuous trap. But destroy a card, and obviously you can use it as fuel to summon out your other Eldlich in the grave. I think that this is really cool. It gets a pop every turn. In theory, if you have two Eldlich monsters on the field, or like an Eldlich monster in a Golden Land trap, you might link one of them off into Link Spider or Imduck, and then make SP Little Knight to banish a card on the field. But this way, you can recover an Eldlich monster, and instead of a banish, you get a pop. You didn't have to link it to a Link Spider or whatever, and it stays on the field, so you can keep making pops on future turns as well. I think it's really cool. I think it is probably intended for Eldlich. Next up, we have a Volmina, Statue of the Sacred Dragon. This is like a pendulum monster, so you put it in the pendulum zone. If a monster is special summoned by your trap effect, so I think this even works if you summon a Golden Land trap, like a Huaquero or a Conquistador, or I guess you could summon an Eldlich with your Elixir card, target a card on the field, return it to the hand, then you can special summon this card. So you place this somewhere, and all of a sudden your Huaqueros and your Conquistadors, in addition to getting whatever other effect they would get, they also get a targeted bounce. So like it's like a compulsory active evacuation device, but way better. Obviously, it's dependent on you having other cards. You'd probably only have it as a one of, but you get a lot of value off of it. And you can special summon it, but if you don't want to special summon it, you can just leave it in your pendulum zone. When it becomes a monster after you special summon it, if your opponent declares an attack, you can place it in your pendulum zone, and if you do, return the opponent's monster to the hand. So if you're really desperate, you can summon it as a way to protect your life points, basically, so that they have to attack with a lower lower attack monster or something. If it's destroyed, you also get to place it in the pendulum zone, so they have to get rid of it by some way that isn't just like destroying it by battle or by card effect, because then we just continue getting value off of it. Finally, notice it's a level 2 light monster. So if we have Imsety on the field, which is a level 2 dark monster, level 8 dark monster, we could make Chaos Angel with the full effects where none of your monsters can be destroyed by battle, and Chaos Angel is unaffected by card effects. So I think it could be a really interesting addition, especially to a Horus Eldlich deck like the ones that we're currently running. Really interesting card. Probably only a one of, but we'll see. Finally, these aren't cards irrelevant to us specifically, but I like the design of some of the new Blue Eyes support, and if we just got basically the same thing but like as an Eldlich version, I would be very happy. First, one card they're getting is called Saga of the Eyes of Blue. It's written just like an Elixir card, where you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck, graveyard, or banished zone. Again, a way to recover an Eldlich from the banished zone if we got a similar card in defense position, but you can only summon Blue Eyes White Dragon if you do not control it. So that's just like the Elixir cards where you can summon a zombie monster, but if you don't control Eldlich the Golden Lord, then you have to summon, Eldlich the Golden Lord. It's the same thing, but with Blue Eyes White Dragon and being able to summon a Blue Eyes monster. And then in the graveyard, you can banish it, fusion summon a monster from the X deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. This could be really interesting as a way to set up an easier play for Eldlich to summon the Mad Golden Lord if we had our own version of this spell card, where instead of saying the things relevant to Blue Eyes, it said things relevant to Eldlich. So I think I like the design, and I hope that they use it for Eldlich if we get it. A second card is this boss monster, this level 12 Synchro, protects your graveyard so that your opponent cannot banish cards from your graveyard. I think it'd be nice if we got some sort of a boss monster that also protected our cards in the graveyard from being banished. Yeah, I just think that'd be nice, except obviously it'd be some sort of a zombie monster. Finally, as a little bit of bonus content, now that we've talked about potential future Eldlich support, and we've talked about the deck that I ran and showed off some of the replays, we're going to have one final duel where I beat Fire King's Snake Eyes. This was my first duel in Master 5. I was testing out a new version of the deck. I'm not going to show the deck profile of this one until I am able to prove that it works and get to Master 1 with it. But basically, I'm running a little bit of Magician's Souls and a couple other cards in it, like Triple Tactics Talent. So we can't punish them super hard for basically skipping their first turn, but whatever. They get a max C. I'm okay with letting them get a single draw. I'm also kind of hoping that they summon out a monster. Okay, do 3,500 damage. Just set a triple tech Karma Cannon, it's fine. We don't set this one Elixir because we're going to set another one. And now if we draw like Imsety or something, then we'll have a card in hand to discard. Here, he activates Imperm, which obviously doesn't do anything, and to me says he has an evenly matched in hand that he wants to use, which is possibly why he skipped his turn. Maybe he had multiple copies of evenly matched or something. So here my plan is to get my important Elixir cards in the graveyard. This guy is indestructible, but this guy isn't. So my plan was to summon Conquistador, activate Torrential, blow both of them up and send them to the grave. So in the graveyard we would have a Karma Cannon and we would have a Torrential Tribute, so we'd be able to blow up all their monsters, and we would have both a Conquistador and an Elixir, so that during my next turn I can banish them both to get the engine going. And I would also have a Karma Cannon because it's the one card I wouldn't banish off of the evenly matched. So I'd still have two powerful interruptions and plenty of follow-up. But I am allergic to to not making misplays. All cards in the Imperm column that are spells or traps are going to be negated. So even though this is a monster card that has no effects, which in theory would mean it's not negated because it's a normal non-effect monster, it's still considered a trap card. So it's a trap card, its effects are negated, it gets put back in the spell and trap zone, which means it doesn't get blown up by a torrential. So that ends up being like a pretty bad mistake, I think, because I think in a couple turns I would have had a chance to kill them if I had an extra Elixir. I don't know, I guess we'll see. But now they're going full Snake Eyes combo. And obviously they've already given up their battle phase, so I could they could make SP Little Knight at some point. I just blow that up while they have three monsters. I don't want them making Promethean Princess or anything. This guy comes back, but he's during the standby phase, not the main phase. Summon an Eldlich. They only have 1,000 attack, or life points. Don't activate monster effects. That's kind of unfortunate. They said Eldlich in the back row, but we don't really care that much. I mean, we've banished one Eldlich face down, and now the other is in the back row, so it's not good. But the thing is, we can still activate Conquistador even when Eldlich is in the back row. So we're hoping to go into one of our other engines, like Diabellstar can free him. And we reset our Golden Land trap so that we can use it again next turn. And we set a Huaquero, so now we have double interruption as Eldlich is just chilling here. Banish a card. We're trying to get them to activate a monster effect. Finally. That was a mistake. Steal one of your cards. We're going to make SP Little Knight so we can banish the monster that has an effect. Yeah, the Snake Eyes Poplar. We can't attack because we have Cursed Eldland, but whatever. We still have a non-targeting pop, and SP is going to be able to banish one of his cards. Okay, he makes that card. He gets a draw 2. Going Diabellstar path, okay. We still have a Conquistador. Summons out. Eventually they're going to pop a card. I feel like okay, so here if he pops my Eldlich, we're in huge trouble because then neither of these Conquistadors will be able to work anymore. So can't afford to take the risk. Our life points are way too low. So I'm just going to activate this now and destroy Fire King Island. Because of the way it resolves, we destroy Fire King Island and then he summons the monster out. So now Fire King Island destroys everything. He can still try to go into his Snake Eyes combo, but he's already used a lot of his monster's effects, and he's already searched a lot of his important spell cards. So he summons out Poplar, but like that's it. That's all you get this turn. And now next turn I'm going to be able to keep popping off and keep killing him. This Eldlich is going to be freed when I draw one of my 3 copies of Diabellstar or my wanted. GG. I hope that you had a lot of fun with this video. There's a lot of variety in it, so I'll be interested to see what you like about it. Also, remember from the start of the video, I'm 150 subscribers away from actually making any money at all on this. So if you want to support the channel in a huge way, just click that red subscribe button, and I'd really appreciate it. See you in the next video, probably the XYZ event. I'm hoping to make a video in a couple days. We'll see how that works out. Peace.